the wrong button. Right, here we are in Virtual Pool 4, and we are in for another first round match in this year's VP4 10 Ball World Championship, and it's between djsimon and Interchangex, who is from the States. And Interchangex has won the lag, race to 14, alternate breaks. All non-obvious shots need to be called, and that is banks and combos. Well, looking at the rating, djsimon, I would say, has played more 10 ball matches than Interchangex. Interchangex, I think, predominantly plays 9 ball, and he has a pretty good rating at 9 ball. It's difficult to judge how this match will go, but Interchangex has got the first chance. Having to draw back to get onto the 3, he's fell short, so now it's just the kick, and hopefully for his sake the safe. But that 3, 4, sorry, the 4, 6 and 8 ball are good blocking balls. And Simon has not managed it, but he might find himself in trouble in a minute. Good afternoon, Tin. And like I said, he's now in trouble. Now ideally he would want to kick this 3 full in the face if he could, but he's doing the right thing. He's calling a pocket. And that might end up good. He'll take that. Always got to call a pocket when you're kicking it, because there's always that chance. I keep saying it, and it's surprising the amount of players that come into this tournament and don't do it. Like that one there, I think. Or did he call it? Yes, he did call it. So hooked again, and the weight's good, and this isn't a difficult kick shot. He might even jump. I don't know whether he can get the range from there. Let's have a look. No. That's going to creep out. So the first real chance for djsimon, and he needs to get top side of that 4, and that will at least give him a chance to get on the 5, although he's maybe got a bit too much angle. Well, he's tried to nudge the 6 and hold the 5. He could possibly have just run down and up for the 5. I don't know if he was comfortable at that, but that other ball going in there's a missed call, so it leaves Interchangex the option of actually playing from where the balls are lying or putting the opponent back in. So he's chose to put djsimon back in, and that's not going to be safe. And now I think the 9 ball will go past the 10, no problem. It's wide open, so it's all about getting on the 7 ball, and he's looking as if he's going to go behind the 7. He has to judge the pace in this right. If he's going to leave the 7 ball into the same pocket, he could come right around and out into the middle of the table. Well, he's drawn it deep, and that's a good shot. And the next important one is getting the good angle on the 8. Now the ideal angle on the 8 is either from there or from here. That way you can just drop up onto the 9. And he's got the angle, but the angle he has, he's going to have to come back that way. If he runs through, he's risking running up that way. And that's why he's missed the 8. He's thinking about that 9. And now djsimon has, although it's a thin cut, he's got a very good angle to come back up the table. Well, that's not very good, but he may well have a bank on here if he wants to go for the combo bank, doubling that 10 ball up the table. But again, decided against it, but it's not a good safety. It's left a straightforward enough 9 ball into the left middle. But I don't know whether he looked at the line of that 9 and 10 ball, but it looked like a possible bank. And Interchangex just roll this into the middle. So that safety, he's sort of thrown away the rack there. Simon needs to get it tighter, but we'll give him the benefit. First rack. The assumption is he hasn't been doing any warming up. So the break has now gone to djsimon. Couple of balls in the break. We've lost to 3 and we've lost to 5. And well, this is a sort of shot come safety, so he's going for the 110 combo. But he wants to control the pace in this. Well, again, not a good shot, because really what he should have been doing is trying to get that 1 ball back up the table towards the 2. That's where the safety was, and that's slack. He needs to get his head screwed on quick here, because that shot he just played there, he wasn't thinking straight. I mean, okay, he could have played the possibility of the 110 combo, but you've got to think about the cue ball and get that cue ball up the table and keep distance between that cue ball and the 1, assuming the 10 ball wasn't going to go in. But he put draw on it and just kept it up at the top end. And again, he's given Interchangex a free go here. Got to tighten up his game already here, djsimon. I'll have a quick drink. Well, the 7 ball will go. It will go, no problem. It's the usual problem is getting onto it, but where the 6 ball is very adjacent to help getting on the 7 ball and make it a bit easier. And Simon's got to jump over this 6, call the cut in the 4. Cue ball might be coming down here near the pocket, and again the pace is going to run up nicely for that 4. I think it's maybe a bit too straight. I don't know whether there's a great angle on this 4. He's going to have to possibly dig into it to get back up the table. And as I said, where the 6 ball was, it was going to make it a lot easier to get on the 7. You'll have to maybe put a bit of inside right English here on this 6, which makes it missable, just to punch the cue ball up the table to the left, like that. Well, 9 ball out behind a 9 ball looks simple enough. He could draw up the table, but easy enough 9 and 10. So this for 2-0, but it's been a A little bit of a sloppy start here for djsimon. And there's a mistake though. Now why Interchangex decided he had to punch that cue ball up the table is beyond me, because he didn't have to do anything with the cue ball. So that's a blunder. All he had to do was roll the 9 in, and he had a simple enough pot in the 10 down that rail, and that's a gift. Now, if ever you want an easy way to get on the board, it surely won't be any easier than this, and that was a careless one from Interchangex. Again, that's where you've got to just think about the simplest shot. The simplest shot is roll the 9 in and do nothing with the cue ball other than stop it. And that was a poor one. So, bit of a mishmash for a start here for the match, but it doesn't matter. It's one rack all. And I think Simon was just trying to squeeze that past the 10. Maybe didn't have the full pocket, but we know what happens when the object ball hits the jaws at any sort of medium pace. If it hits the jaws, it's unlikely to go in, and it's a chance for Interchangex. Admittedly, he's going to have to jump this by the look of it. I thought he could see enough of the one. Good afternoon. Welcome to the stream. Well, a good little jump. Although I think he's too tight to pot this too. He can reverse bank it into the same pocket where the cue ball is. He didn't call it, so he didn't play it. He's just looking for the safety. And once again, there is a chance here for Simon to get distance, and didn't get the weight into the shot. It's safe enough though. Now at some point we'll have a look at the bracket, because there's I think been 1 or 2 results that have come in on matches that I haven't been around to cover, and we'll look at that later, a wee bit later on. So djsimon hooked behind a 10 ball, and all these balls are in the open, so ideally he would want to hit the 2, obviously. I think that's a bit too tight for the jump. Yeah. Well, there's one good outcome with that shot there. The fact that he's actually fouled the 10 ball is immaterial. He's given ball in hand to Interchangex, but the 4 ball is locked up behind a 9, and Interchangex needs to be thinking about that and getting the first opportunity to try and break that out, because that's going to be the stumbling block to him being able to run this rack. It wouldn't be a wise idea to do it now, because he has to get on that 3, and that's not ideal. Cue ball may well be running into the 7. But if it misses it, there's a danger of scratching off the 4. If he's going to try and nudge the 4, he could play a decent safety off that 4 and hook Simon. So there's options available here, but this might work out wrong. Well, in fact, I never even looked at the HUD, but he had called a 3-10 combo there into the middle, and he's got away with it big time. But as I say, as long as that 4 ball remains where the 9 is, and Simon doesn't want to be bashing at balls here to do anything that's going to open that up. It's not the right time to do that. He just wants to try and hit this 3. And that will do. And I don't think it's a snooker, but there's a chance of a pot here, I think. I think that 5 ball is actually a pretty good guide to the cut on the 3. And I think he might even have to put a bit of inside English on this if he's going to try and chip the 4. But not risking it. Looking to keep it safe. Well, now there's a chance to just feather the 3 and run up towards that 10 ball. Get the cue ball well away up the table. Well, he could have done with a bit more because he could have had the hook behind the 5 and made it more difficult for Interchangex there. That's not a bad result. Nothing on. Simon just looking to get that cue ball, the 3 ball as close to the top rail as he can. Now this, well, I was going to say it was dangerous if he was going to try and nudge the 3 towards the 10. He's going to try and billiard off the 3 onto the 10. He's called the shot into the corner. And another chance to get distance here on this 3 ball. Well, that's changed it. He hasn't got cover behind the 10, but no, the 4 ball is still going nowhere. And now Interchangex may well try and sneak behind the 9 and the 4. Oh, he's got the double kiss that's ruined that. And that definitely changes the situation. djsimon's got the safety, but more importantly now, it puts a wee bit more pressure on Interchangex because the 4's now pretty much over that corner pocket. And I think he's way short of pace there, trying to get in behind the 10 ball. He's left it short. Now Simon can only just roll forward here. He needs to get right over to the rail. Or is he trying to come the inside of the 4? I don't know whether that's ideal. That was, again, not a good shot. If he went right over to the rail, he had a clear shot in the 4, and now he's having to try and kick it in. I begin to wonder whether we're having a proper look at the layout of these balls before we're playing a shot here. Because there's a minute shot clock and there's a minute extension, and everybody seems to be in a bit of a hurry when they just need to steady down and think exactly what they're doing. So, thin cut on the 5, and he has to somehow keep this cue ball down the bottom half of the table if he can. I don't know whether he can though. Has to get the pace in it to get the 5 into the pocket. Well, he's made a good effort at it. Got the cut. 6 ball shouldn't be a problem. And he'll be looking to make amends for that almighty miss in the second rack. Now this is a little tester to get it straight. Very easy to drift this to the right hand jaw. And it goes. So, back into the lead. Interchangex, break goes back to djsimon. 3 ball is tracking, it's going in. He has a cut in the 1, but look where the 2 ball is. Again, it is going nowhere. Right in there, behind the 10. At least he's got the short side of it, so if he can, he'll be looking to knock it safe and get good cover. It's not ideally placed to be able to do that though. Just trying to brush off it and go behind the 8, and that'll do it. Not difficult to kick it though. There's enough of it shown just to catch an edge of it. He might be. I was thinking he might be worthwhile calling that to the corner. Got it thick, but the end result is good. Now these are dangerous shots to kick from the side rail because you can punch off the 2 and scratch, and he's played it off the short rail. Well, it's now in the open, and Interchangex, I'm not sure how good he is with the jump stick, but we're about to find out. And that goes past the 7. Once again though, the 6 ball is very adjacent to the 10, so that's going to be the problem. But it does go into that middle pocket. If you can get bottom side of it on the right hand side of the table. Well, he's tried to improve the situation. He's not got a lot of joy. Once again, should be looking to just roll it in dead weight. That is nice. And a great chance to tie the match. And that's now a bit awkward. Cue ball's running away from the 10. And it's going the wrong side of the 10 as well, so he's going to have to force this 9 in with a lot of inside if he's going to straighten the cue ball up. And there was never enough with the angle that he had to allow him to do that. It's far too much angle. So now it's a straight choice, the cut or the bank. So he's going for the cut. And he's way off that. So the good chance is gone. That was all to do with how he left himself on the 9. Just the wrong side of the 9 ball and having to do far too much with the cue ball to try and bring it back up the table. But it's in clean, and now there is a gap, and the break goes back to Interchangex, so it's now 3-1. And the 1 ball is in the open but safe on the right rail. Chance to get a good safety though. Oh, that's unlucky. Well, now we'll see just how good Interchangex is going to be amongst these balls. He's got everything there. Not a problem ball on the table. It's just about holding the cue ball. Well, the problem, if there's going to be one, is the 4. To get from the 3 to the 4. And now he's in trouble. Difficult enough 3 ball, but even more difficult to get anywhere on this 4 ball. Yeah, very difficult. I mean, he done pretty well to get there on the 4, but that cost him. And of course, Simon's got exactly the same problem. Well, he could try an ambitious billiard from the 4 onto the 10, because the 4 isn't going past the 10, but he could line up the billiard. It looks easier to play the billiard than it does to try and play any combo on that 10. And that is nice. Well worked out. And all square. So into rack, sorry, not all square, back to within 1. Into rack number 6. djsimon breaks, couple of balls gone in the break, but no shot in the 1. And I think that 1 is sneaked out. He just needs to drop this in, because he's going to be on the 3 ball, no problem. It's all about a dead weight pot in the 1. The cue ball will take care of itself as long as he doesn't overhit it. And now he's perfect. Can pot the 3, drop in behind the 4. Well, if he's going to leave the 4 long like that, he's going to have to run through. This is the 10 ball World Championships, Keith. He missed out. Admittedly, Tin set the tournament and only gave people about 3 days to sign up. So that's why you never get in. But this is one of the last first round matches that we're watching. Race to 14. It's alternate break. Yeah, I think 4 days. I mean, you should have at least 3 weeks to sign up for tourneys like this, Tin. Give guys that are away on holiday and stuff like that a chance to get in. That's a good shot. Still going to have to play another good one to get on this 10. And it's a fair bit off the rail, so this is a fairly simple enough 10 ball to run it in. So Interchangex is going to open up the gap again. So into rack number 7. And that rack was against the break. Interchangex going to be back in a a minute or two. Right, now while he's in taking care of business, we'll have a look at the bracket. If I can find a bloody link to it. Hang on a minute. It's up here somewhere. Where is it? Right, we'll have a look at the bracket and we'll see the matches that we've missed, or I've missed. Right, so Mr. Bill played Wanwa, or Fan as he wants to be called, and Mr. Bill fairly comfortably won that, 14 racks to 8, and he now plays Romario in round 2. Well, anything can happen in that match. Romario is dangerous if he can concentrate for more than 30 seconds. Snake Eyes is now lined up to play semi-pro tomorrow afternoon at 4 PM, which is fine. I'll be able to cover that one. We've got Marcellus match against Vinces, which was one that I wanted to get, but they played their match at 6 o'clock in the morning my time. Vinces won that convincingly, 14-3, and Vinces will now play Bedhead, so again that's another good match to watch. We've got Potman waiting on the result of this match, and Xavierex is waiting on the result between Z Karaoke and Spectre Dawn. Well, that match hasn't even got a schedule for it, and they've got until the end of whenever it is today to get it played, and I haven't seen Z Karaoke on here very often, so that looks as if it may well be a forfeit. And Real Poland Power, or Stubb, is through to round 3. He is yet to be pushed, but if the matches go the way they might go, Real Poland Power could be playing Spectre Dawn next, so that'll be a much tougher test. So that's the matches that have been played so far. We're back in business. Oh yeah, yeah, I see that on the in the bracket, Semi. Yeah, I'll be home at that time. I've got a short shift tomorrow, so I'll be in. Well, that's fine, as long as he sent the emails, he'll be the one that's going to get advanced. Right, let me get myself squared up here. So we're in rack number 7, and well, DJ Simon wants to keep himself in this match, so this is where he has to focus. And well, that is not good evidence there with that shot. That's very loose. I've noticed something when I'm streaming with XSplit Gamecaster. It doesn't allow me to do a Control V, so I can't paste a link to the stream, which is crazy. I don't know why it does that. See, if I do that in the chat, it doesn't. I press Control V, it won't allow me to paste. That must be just a bug within the streaming software that prevents me doing it. But I can type chat. I don't know why it does it though. It's a bit crazy. Anyway, Interchangex. Well, Simon's going to have to make him work harder for his racks, because he's been a bit too loose and a bit too sloppy, and he's had chances, and well, he's about to go 5-2 behind, provided Interchangex can get on this 8-ball. Get on the bloody 9-ball, and it should be sweet and home and dry here, this one. So the alarm bells should be ringing. He has to tighten up, and he has to pay a bit more attention to exactly what he's doing and get his shot choice worked out, because I think, to be honest with you, that's all that's missing. I mean, we know Simon can pot a ball, but I just think he's in a wee bit too much of a hurry to get this done and dusted. And he should be paying a wee bit more attention. So 5 ball is blocked off by the 9 in the top left, so that's a 5-9 combo. So the important one is getting good on the 4. And the angle that he's got is good enough. Now it depends how brave he wants to be. Ideally he wants to stun this in and get a cross behind a 5. And that's pretty well played. And he needs a quick rack to get himself back in this. So take his time. Like I say, there's a minute shot clock. And a minute is plenty of time, including a minute extension in each rack. And he's gone dead straight on the 5. Managed to pinch and squeeze an angle. And this is the one where your pace is going to be judged, because the simple shot is pot the 6. And just keep yourself over the right hand side for that 7. And you see he's gone way square. And that's why he's missed the 6. Fully focused on the 7 and forgot about actually potting the ball. So it's another sloppy mistake. And far too many at this stage in the match, and that's why he's looking like he's going to drop another one. And this is playing into your opponent's hands when you're getting good opportunities and you're throwing them away. And all that does is just give your opponent more confidence, and he's more likely to open up. Interchangex. Well, it's now 6-2. Interchangex breaking in rack number 9, and it's a scratch in the break. And straight away, when you get a scratch in the break like this, you come to the table, you've got a minute shot clock. The first thing you do is look at all the balls and get a picture in your head of exactly what you're doing. So you're potting the 1, you're dead weighting the 2 ball onto the 9, because that's going to be the combo, because you're not going to do anything stupid to try and get on the 2 ball. You're just going to roll it in, roll the 2 onto the 9, and hopefully when this 2 ball finishes, you leave yourself an angle to get the cue ball out into the table onto the 3. That's the plan in the first stage here. Well, that's gone dead straight, so all it's going to be is a draw across the table. And if he's gone, oh dear, don't tell me he's dead on the 4. Well, that's the worst possible outcome. A little nudge on that 4, no problem. And he's dead on the 4 and no shot at all. And all he can do, I don't even know whether he can actually squeeze the angle to get on that 3. No, he couldn't. He needed spin on that off the rail. And the racks are leaking away here for Simon. It's ball in hand for Interchangex. And, well, I can't see where the problem is. Interchangex has played one careless shot that cost him a rack. But since then, he's not been made to work. All he's doing is picking up the pieces that's been left here by djsimon and sticking the racks on the board, which is all you can do if you're given all these opportunities. Well, this is a tricky one. The 7 ball wide open, it looks not a problem. The problem starts when you don't get the right side of the 7 to give yourself an easy shot to get to the 8. And he's gone a bit too far, and now he has to be careful. A bit more square than he would have liked on this 7. But no problem. Well, again, it's make your mind up time. Have a look at the 10. Decide the simpler shot is just to roll it in dead weight on the 8 and leave yourself the pot in the 10. Because there wasn't a great angle there on that 8 ball to come up the table for the 10 into the left hand corner. So he did the common sense thing. Had a little look, decided it was an easy roll in, and then an easy roll in the 10. And now it's 7-2. But this scoreboard could have been oh so different. I mean, we could be all square at the moment. Or Simon could even be in the lead. But sloppiness is the story so far. An easy kick for Interchangex. I think it's an easy kick. Can he get between that? No, maybe he can't. Oh yes, he can get between that 8 and the 2. You get a bust through there to kick that 1. I mean, maybe my eyes are so bad it looked a lot bigger. But he's left it fairly safe. Well, again, it's still an easy one to kick off the short rail at the top end of the table. Looking to kick it 2 rails to try and hit it full in the face. Well, he's caught an edge. And now it's given a chance for djsimon on the 1, but we can see there that we have the 5 and what looks to be, what the hell ball is that that's there anyway? Well, he's calling the bank. Is that the 8 that's there? So those 2 balls are tied up. Good bank on the 1. Nice pace to give it every chance to go in. And so the problem is now he's got a bit more angle in this 2 than he would like. So again, inside English to check the cue ball back the way off the rail. Stop it running towards the 4. And again, rushing in to play the shot, desperate to play the shot. Okay, he's been lucky and got cover, but you need to put a wee bit more thought process into it before you start hitting at the ball. So a kick and hope here for Interchangex. The only thing now is though that 5 ball I think will go. Let's have a look. Yes, it does go. Simon calling the bank. Let's have a look. Well, this time it hasn't gone, and it's going to be hanging over the right middle, and the table is open for Interchangex again. You know what I would like to see is that djsimon trying to put Interchangex under a bit more pressure, but he's not doing that because he's too loose. The potting strategy hasn't worked because he's missing too many. Been sloppy in the safeties and quite a few times. Now when I say sloppy, That's sloppy. Interchangex has got a very thin cut in the 8 here. He's way offline. Well, this is all or nothing, this one. But in it goes comfortably. Well, this is going to be more difficult to hold for the 10 because all he can do is roll the 9 in. The cue ball's going to follow through the 9 slightly. So that's why he's now digging down to try and come back, and he's played that well. And it's now going to be 8-2. And I honestly don't think that, in terms of pot and balls, I don't think there's a great deal of difference between these two. Now this is a perfect situation. With a dry break, djsimon coming to the table. He's left himself a very tight shot in that too. I mean, this is very difficult to judge. There is not a lot of room past that 5. And once again, it's clipped to 5. It's gone behind the 8, but there will be a possible jump. Looks as if he's going to kick though. Now, did the question I would ask is, did djsimon have a good look at that 2 ball to see how much room he had before he potted that 1 ball to actually, you know, decide that it was worth trying to get the 2 on the 2 ball? You to make that shot easy, you had to be right behind the 2. Any angle off the 2, you're just adding to the difficulty of the shot. Well, again, it's very loose on the safety. And it's just an easy starter with a good angle to get trying down behind the 3. Well, he's had a double kiss there that's done him a favour. 4 ball goes. 5 into the left middle. Well, it might not be into the left middle now because he's got a lot more angle on the 4. He could go across the table twice. Decided using the spin to help the cue ball around the angles, and that's worked out nice. He'll probably brush onto this 10 ball, but that'll actually do him a favour. In fact, I think he's missed it. Still okay though. And it's all too easy for Interchangex. Well, something dramatic needs to happen here if Simon's going to get any respectability in this match. He's got the break. Ball goes in, I think was the 6 ball. Although he's got a shot in the 1, the difficulty here is avoiding traffic to get across for that too. And that was always going to be the stumbling block there. So now he has to get a decent safety and get distance. Well, that actually ended up in a double kiss there from Interchangex, and he's got a reward there. Once again, Simon having to kick at the 2 and just hope. Cue ball's going to have to travel a fair bit. And that's not a bad effort. He's just going to be a wee bit short. A thin cut. And the other, again, there's collision on here with the 8 ball. Oh, he's avoided that. Is he going to get a sighter on the 4? Yes, he is. 5 ball over that left middle. So again, you just fully concentrate in the pot. You don't worry about the cue ball. You're going to have a shot in the 5. Oh, I think he's overcut it. Well, this is the chance to get one more rack on the board for djsimon. Wide open space on the right side. Well, you don't want to be going anywhere left because the danger there is colliding with something. Well, he's managed to avoid it. It was always risky. And this shot here is about the way to shot. Anywhere up on the right hand side by that middle pocket will give you a good shot in the 9. Now how straight is he? He's okay. He'll be able to come off that short rail and out onto the 10. Well, just a wee bit more weight than he needed, but he still should be okay. So that's 1 back. And the break goes back to Interchangex for rack number 13. Interchangex leading by 9 racks to 3, race to 14. And the break is dry. Four ball up in that top right hand corner. Now let's have a quick look at that. Well, it's off the rail, which makes a cut at distance a lot easier. Well, with this shot, again, you don't need to do an awful lot. Just leave yourself a sight in the 4. Well, I think that's made the situation worse. 5 balls now upward. Now he can drop down that right rail. He can come down the inside of the 8 ball. And if he keeps going, he might have a shot in that into the middle. Well, that's all he's going to have. But he's got a very thin cut. And even more difficult to actually hold that ball for the 6. So might be wise to look for the safety here. Well, he's gone for the cut. And he's dropped it in. He played that one well. But now he's pretty straight in the 6. And that's going to have to keep running. Again, he's short of weight. He's just finding ways to get himself in trouble. So it's really a jump shot to keep him in this rack. He called the 7 into the bottom left hand corner. And that's unlucky. Made a good effort at it. But wide open spaces in the table there to just give yourself a sighter on that ball and manage to find his way behind the 10. So it's another rack that's going to escape from his grasp. And it's Interchangex that's going to get to double figures. And it's 10 racks to 3. Break goes back to djsimon. Well, that's never a good thing to happen prior to playing a match. So, 2 ball in the break. Well, I think Interchangex can see the one to cut it onto the 6. And didn't risk it. Trying to keep it tight. That little hit on the knuckle in the middle pocket has brought the one out. I think Simon's going to scratch here. Another one. It's another ball in hand opportunity for Interchangex. Of course, the other thing that I keep that I haven't mentioned is the fact that Simon is not playing a lot of Virtual Pool 4, and you have to take that into context as well. He's like me from that point of view. You just don't have the time now to. When you don't have that table time, you struggle to get your settings right and get used to your settings and controls and get used to the pace and running a ball and all of that stuff. And I'm sure that's played a big part as well. So another little soft draw shot up to that left middle pocket. And it's a fairly straightforward 10 ball to give Interchangex what we describe as an unassailable lead. It would need a sensational comeback here and a big change in the run of the ball, a big change in Interchangex's fortunes for him to lose this match. So the break is dry. And it's another scratch. And the only saving grace here, I think, for Simon might be the 5 ball. Yeah, it's stuck against the 10, so it isn't going anywhere fast. Now, the other problem for Interchangex is not only the fact the 5 ball's locked up, it's where the 4 ball is. It doesn't lend itself to give you a good opportunity to break out the 5. But you can get the next best thing. If you can't break out the 5, then at least make sure you're going to have a shot that's going to leave your opponent in trouble. And he's got that chance. He can play the... He's got the chance to play the safety off the 5 and try and get distance. Well, that'll be a missed call. And again, Simon has a choice of playing the shot from where it is or putting his opponent in. I don't think he'll be doing that because he'll be going for the cut on this ball. It's thin. And that's unlucky. full face run into the 10, and now he's got another very thin shot in this 6. Yeah, it's a very tough cut on that 6 ball. And he's going to be hitting the 8 ball, so there's no idea where things are going to finish up here. Well, he called the nearest corner pocket for the double bank. It hasn't gone, but at least it's gone safe. I've never seen that name before in the lobby chat. Yach, whatever it is. Now, possible billiard from the 6 onto the 10, although he could jump and pot the 6. So once again, it's a straight choice. And he's calling the 6 ball, and this basically has to go in. Well, with this shot, I'd be more inclined to go just forward and let the cue ball run out into the table. Well, he's got a nice little kiss there. Wasn't really planned, but it's as good a chance as any here to get another one back. A player since, oh, today? That's why I've never seen the name before. So djsimon is really looking to just make this score a bit more respectable. That's really all he can focus on. It's gone, and once again I think he's got himself behind that 7. So he can play a push out, or he can go for the jump. Now, did he call the push out there? Oh, he did. I missed it. And now from the push out, it's not a good push out because Interchangex can cut the 2. I mention this every time when we watch 9 ball, and even in this game. When you're playing a push out, you have to just size up what you're leaving your opponent. What you don't want to do is leave them a pot. You might want to leave them something to entice them to a pot, but it has to be difficult. And the obvious thing is you could be put back in. But if you play a sloppy push out, you're basically handing control of the table to your opponent. And now Interchangex has got Simon in more trouble. Locked behind the 6. He's not jumping that, I don't think. And all he can do is the old hit and hope. And that's unlucky. Got the hit. Glanced off the 3 and scratched. And it's a ball in hand for the run out again for Interchangex. Well, this time it's about getting good on the 7 ball. And that is not bad at all. That is pretty good, because he can drop over the left hand side of the table just past the left middle pocket, and he'll be sitting pretty good on the 8. And again, the problem is still getting nice on this 9 to make it easy to come back for the 10. Well, the angle he's got there, let's have a look. Yeah, he was just threatening that and off in the middle there, but he's okay. And now Interchangex is within two racks of round 2. We'll have a look at the bracket and see how things are set up after this match. Interchangex breaks off in rack number 17. The break's dry. The table is not that bad. The 7 is slightly awkward because it's a very thin cut to get that just to drop in. So no problem with the 2, the 3, the 4 and the 5 and the 6. But there's a wee bit of care needed from that 6 and leaving yourself the shot in the 7, because your other problem is getting back up for the 8. Now, you'd have to leave the cue ball anywhere here to have the cut on that 7 and then get that cue ball off the rail, down and around to at least give yourself a shot in the 8. Ideally, you'd want the cue ball to be there in the 8 just to leave it a shot in the 9, but it'd be very unlikely that's going to happen. But he's really got to get lots of running in the cue ball here to get out. And that looks pretty good. If it had more pace on it, he would have been perfect in the 8. And now he has to make a decision. You can't try and baby it in and hold for the 9. You have to go up and down. Surely. And again, I like the pace in that. It looks nice. He doesn't want to go too straight though. The angle's good, so it's focusing the 9, and he gets the pace. The cue ball's going up the table for a shot in the 10. It needs to keep running though. And it's another one back. And djsimon breaks, and well, 3 balls went in. Unfortunately, one of them was the cue ball. And this is a gift of a chance for Interchangex. And a similar little problem here for Interchangex is getting high enough up on the 5. If he gets anywhere over here in the 5, he's ideal. If he's there, he's ideal as well, because he can drop in behind the 6. I think he's a wee bit straight. No, he's not. He can easily squeeze behind the 6 off this. Well, this has all come about from that break. A good enough break because the balls all spread well enough and a couple of balls went in, but cue ball managed to escape down a hole, and it's another easy tidy up here for Interchangex. Now on the hill, needing one more for round 2. 7 ball is going to go in, and I think he can play the 1-5 combo, but I don't think he can play the 1-6 combo. Yeah. So in goes the 5. And let's Look at that 2. Well, that 2 will go. It just has to be dropped in, and you just cheat it off the rail slightly and it will go in. But from that angle where he is, it's much more difficult. If you're staring it down, it's a much easier shot. Now that he's having to play the cut, it just makes it a wee bit more of a challenge. Now, same thing with the 4 ball. The 4 ball goes, and it goes if you just drop it in. It hasn't got anything to do with the cue ball because he'll be on the 6. But that 4 will go every day of the week. There's plenty of room past that 6 just to cheat it into the pocket, as long as you're pretty straight on it. And that's going to finish pretty nigh perfect. And all you do is pot the 4. And perfect angle on the 6. And, well, perfect to get around the corner and out, but he could just drop it off that short rail on the top end of the table and go along far enough to the right to leave the 8 ball into the left middle. He looks as if he's doing something fancy here. Yeah. Getting the cue ball out into the table. He didn't need to, but he's actually got himself ideal again. Now the worst thing that will happen here is he goes too far and hooks himself. But he's played it not too bad. And he's going to have to go across the table twice to leave this a long 10 ball by the looks of it. I don't know whether he wants to try and come the bottom side of this 10. No. He's, again, the pace is perfect. So this match is done and dusted. And it's a good little run out from Interchangex. And djsimon is going to move over to the 1 loss side. Interchangex wins the match by 14 racks to 5. It could have been a lot closer though. Now let's have a quick look at the bracket before we go. And I don't know whether this is going to make any difference. I'll change that. But the result will update in a second or two. And we'll see that Interchangex will move through. And he's going to have a tough match next round. Well, their matches all get tougher on the winner's side. But he's going to end up playing either Bedhead, who is now probably the favourite for the tournament in my book. Only slightly, but he's already beaten Larry comfortably by 14 racks to 4, Bedhead. So, but Bedhead's going to have it tough as well. He's going to have a big challenge against Vinces in his second round match, but this still hasn't updated, has it? Oh no, it has updated. Now Interchangex plays Potman. I'm blind. Interchangex will play Potman for a round 3 place, and the next match that we're going to have is the match between Snake Eyes and Semi Pro. That's going to be tomorrow afternoon UK time at 4 PM. Which would be 11 AM East Coast time, and that would be 8 AM Pacific time. And I'll be there tomorrow afternoon for that match. It should be a good match. Semi-Pro is going to have a tougher match than he had in his first round, and no doubt about that. So we look forward to getting that one for tomorrow. So until then, chaps, if anybody's still watching, thanks for your company. And we will see you again soon.